Hi there, this is Dewan Mukto, and I welcome you to the third video about IELTS. This is also the hardest section of IELTS. If you can conquer this one, then I guarantee you that you will have no worries about the rest of the other sections. That is to say, you should not obviously feel intimidated or scared that this is the hardest section, that there no way you can do it. Like, obviously there is a way, you just need to know the strategy to do it. Of course, if you still didn't get it, what section this particular video is about, well, it's about writing, the third test in IELTS. So you will have 1 hour, 60 minutes. It is up to you to distribute the time between the two tasks. Now, this video, by the way, is about the academic module of IELTS. I will be working on the general training version of the videos later on. So for now, if you're here for the academic module, then it's great, it's perfect. So let's continue. So you will have just 1 hour to split between two tasks. As for the two tasks, there is a task 1, which could be a diagram or a map summary, or it could be a chart or a graph. Well, technically, it's all the same thing. Like, there will be just a picture, an illustration, or something. And you just have to summarize in you have to summarize in 150 words what this is about. And there'll be a second task, which could also be basically it's an essay. It could be an argumentative essay. It could be an opinion-based essay. It could also be a discussion essay. So the time format, usually people suggest spend 15 minutes on the first task and 45 minutes on the second one. And yeah, that is exactly what I would suggest as well. Although if you feel like you want, you can split up the time like this, that you leave 20 minutes for the first task and 40 minutes for the second task. And it's recommended that for task 1, you write around 150 words. And for task 2, 250 words will suffice. So the general guidance for a standard essay is that the first paragraph, okay, this is not an essay. Okay, for the time being, imagine that this here is an essay. So you just need to make sure that there are 4 paragraphs. Although it can change, it can vary, there should be a minimum of 3 paragraphs in an essay for both the essays. So the first paragraph is the introduction paragraph. So it should contain around 2 lines, 2 sentences, that should be enough. As for the second and third paragraphs, it depends on you. If you'd like to leave the main body of the text in just a single long paragraph, then yes, you can. And if you want, then it's better to just split it in half, so that you can cover, if it's for the argumentative essay, you can have all the 4 side arguments in one paragraph and the against side arguments in the third paragraph. And of course, the last paragraph will be the conclusion. It will just contain 1 sentence. And for the main body, it should contain 5 to 7 lines. There are no right or wrong answers or opinions. That's the first thing I would tell you about the writing part of the exam. The examiner are simply just trying to, take an assessment on how well you can use your English skills to report on information and then how you express your ideas. And there is just one particular thing that the examiners really want to know about you. It's that, does this person know how to write an essay in English? That's it. You just need to focus on that particular question that the examiners themselves will be asking as they read through your essay. Think of it like some sort of writing challenge. And of course, if you're looking for any templates or some sort of example of how to write a typical good essay, then I will be sure to leave some on my website, which by the way is over here. I will just, okay, it could be here. Yeah, I'll just leave the link in the description as well, so you just find it. I still haven't posted it at the time of recording of this video, but I will by the time, you might have just watched this video today, or it could be that you've watched it a week after I've posted this on YouTube. So nothing to worry about. You'll eventually find it. Just need to make sure to keep an eye on the descriptions. So as I was saying, there are no right and wrong answers either. You just need to focus on the main essay. Well, that is to say that right and wrong answers would apply to the second task, the second writing. For the first task, it's kind of hard to explain without a proper example. So it's also, I don't want to bore you by just reading out or displaying one of my sample answers on this video. So I'll just leave it up to you for your own convenience to explore it as you will. And of course, you have to make sure that you analyze each of the questions carefully to make sure your answer contains all the points that are covered by the question. Like there could be some smaller bullet points that, asking you about a particular viewpoint or about the question itself. Like you have to include this and this in your answer. You have to be careful to use your own words by a term called paraphrasing, because the examiner will not include any words that you copied from the question in the word count. You don't have to write very long sentences to do well. That is what most people think. That's a wrong superstition, I would say. You just need to make sure that you maintain a balance. Yes, of course, you'll need some long sentences. You also need a blend of shorter or medium length sentences. Otherwise, if they become too long, they'll become too complex. And of course, it'll be harder for you to control the grammar of the sentence. And they'll become less and less coherent. Yeah, those are two other things that most people talk about, usually in training centers. Coherence and cohesion. It's basically refers to how the information is flowing through each of the sentences. Is it clear to understand or not? And how each of the paragraphs are progressing, so that each of the paragraphs seem like they belong together, and not just suddenly you're talking about something and then jumps to another topic out of nowhere. Yeah, make sure it doesn't happen. And that's what coherence and cohesion mean in simple terms. You can, of course, search them up yourself. Feel free to. In task 1, you only have to select and compare the relevant information from the data in the table or graph. And once again, a kind reminder that do not copy the words directly from the question. Use your own words. Like in the question, if they use any particular words, try to think of their synonyms, so that the examiner also counts this as a plus point, that this candidate, the examiner will think that, yes, this candidate knows how to paraphrase. So that's a good thing. And you shouldn't try to interpret or give reasons for any data, by the way. For example, yes. So over here, you can see some sort of diagram about Canadian imports and exports. Your task for the first task, which is the diagram summary, is to just report on the data that's presented. You just need to tell them what is there. You don't have to tell them why is it there. Get it? You don't have to try to explain that the Canadian exports have increased over the last couple of years. This might be because of this and that. No. You just have to report on what's represented, what you can see directly on the visual diagram itself. It could also be a flowchart. In my case, it was a flowchart. In task 2, don't forget to plan your essay before starting. And the whole 250 words essay can be done in just 30 minutes. Trust me. Just take the first 5 to 10 minutes for planning itself. Just do nothing at all. Sit right there. If you need an extra piece of paper, ask them. They'll be free to provide you. You just sit down there and try to figure out, make some sort of mind map of how you're going to plan out your essay, how you're going to write down each and every paragraph. And if you want, you can support your answer with real-life examples. They're usually called anecdotes. Write the conclusion. You can write the conclusion, which is just the final sentence of the entire essay, as a paraphrasing of the introduction. Or you can simply just write it based on the most important information that you provided in the body paragraphs. It's up to you. For me, the writing part of the IELTS exam, it could be the most difficult one, but it's also the most exciting one, because you're free to do anything you want. There is actually no fixed format or anything like that. No matter what videos you see elsewhere, you find people coming out with formats and templates. These are all just for show, a good template is always better than writing an essay if you're inexperienced. But if you're experienced, of course, go ahead. Feel free to write down whatever you want. There is no fixed structure or layout for any of these essays. It's just something that people follow because they know that it looks beautiful in the end, so that the outcome is much better than trying to write the essay without one. So that's pretty much it about the writing section. See you guys in the next one. I'm Dewan Mukto, and I'm really glad to teach you IELTS. Take care.